We are going to continue our learning about factoring quadratics by looking at the situation where the constant term a has the value of 1. The example x squared plus 13x plus 40 satisfies that situation, so we do recognize that it might factor as a binomial times a binomial. Setting up that plan, our first consideration is what is the first term times the first term, and recognizing that the only possibility is x times x. Our next order is to look at what would create the last term times the last term, and knowing that that has to be factors of our last term, which is 40. Our approach is to create a very organized list of factors of 40. For instance, 1 times 40, 2 times 20. When we consider 3, we realize that's not a factor of 40. So we go on 4 times 10, 5 times 8, and thinking and considering 6, it is not a factor of 40. 7 is not a factor of 40. And then realizing when we get to 8, we've already included that in our list. We now know we have an exhaustive list of integer factors of 40. So what we need to say is which of these 4 possibilities will be the one that provides the last times the last term, which satisfies arriving at the correct b constant. The decision of which of these to use to arrive at the correct b constant now depends on looking at what is the operation which will help determine the signs on the operations in our binomial terms. When we observe that this final operation is addition, the only way to arrive at the same sign on these factors is to have the same sign located here. Now, is that going to be the same addition times addition, or will it be a subtraction times a subtraction, or negative times a negative to create that positive result? For that decision, we have to look back and notice that this is a positive result, so we know that this same sign will be arrived at having a sum rather than a difference. Those are the only 2 possibilities, and knowing then that it's going to be a sum will allow us then to consider what sums would result in a value of 13. Listing the various sums, 1 plus 40 creates 41, 2 plus 20 creates 22, 4 plus 10 creates 14, 5 plus 8 creates 13. I now know it is possible to arrive at a sum of that b term 13 by using the factors of 5 and 8. Having considered this, it then is the situation that I will look at x plus 5, x plus 8, and I will create the binomial product. X times x is x squared. 5 times x plus 8 times x. And finally, last times last, 5 times 8 is 40. When I add that multiplication up, I check the fact that I have arrived at the quadratic that I started factoring, and I am confident I have factored correctly.